Like and subscribe may look simple to you, but for us, it's very valuable. So make sure to support us, and thank you for watching.
The film begins with Cherie, a legal assistant, voicing a complaint to the management about an inappropriate remark made by her colleague, Larry. However, her concerns are dismissed for the so-called greater good of the workplace, as Larry is deemed an invaluable employee. Cherie reluctantly accepts this, as women often endure such injustices due to a lack of alternatives. She could have fought back more vigorously, or she could have endured the situation to keep her job and provide for her daughter at home. Later that day, while on the bus heading home, Cherie receives a call from her boss, James Fuller. He informs her that Larry has been terminated for his behavior and requests a favor from her. She must attend a client dinner in his place because he is double booked on the day of his anniversary. During her commute, Cherie notices a man leering at her who is easier to ignore than the one who starts touching her inappropriately. A woman on the bus observes what's happening to Cherie but chooses to ignore it. Despite this, Cherie agrees to her boss's favor and soon after is compelled to get off the bus. Upon arriving home, Cherie takes care of her daughter, Luz. Separated from her boyfriend, Trey, she lives alone with her daughter. Cherie calls a friend to babysit Luz while she attends the dinner. Armed with pepper spray in case of any trouble, Cherie heads out to meet the client, Ethan Sachs. When she arrives at his place, she encounters a strikingly handsome man, a tall white male with blue eyes, features that are often considered a form of social currency. The date starts well. However, a few things happen before dinner. Cherie gets her period, and Ethan mistakenly identifies astronomy as astrology and Jupiter as Venus, prompting Cherie to correct him. She apologizes, not wanting to appear condescending. Ethan appears to be very gentle and charming on the surface. However, during their dinner at a sushi restaurant, he reveals his aggressive side when a dog suddenly starts barking at him. He explains to Cherie that his fear of dogs stems from a childhood incident where he was bitten by one. The evening goes pleasantly enough, despite the barking dog. Cherie and Ethan have dinner and then spend a few more hours enjoying one another's company by going rollerblading together. After the date, Ethan invites Cherie to spend the night with him, setting an alarm on his phone for the early morning so that she can return home before her daughter wakes up. When he does, Cherie notices that he already has an alarm for 5:25 a.m. After some hesitation, Cherie agrees, only for it to turn into her biggest mistake. Right before going into the house, Ethan breaks the fourth wall and signals the audience to wait. He is putting on a show and wants us to watch it. The horror of what happens next is that it is behind closed doors. There are sounds of violence and Cherie's screams before she manages to open the door and escape. She is hurt and bleeding all over as she makes her way to safety. After running through the streets of LA looking for help, she bumps into two ladies and asks to use one of their phones so she can call 911. The women don't seem to take her pleas for help seriously, but one of them calls the police on her behalf. When the police arrive, Cherie is taken to the police station, and it can be presumed that she is now safe. Unfortunately, Cherie's troubles are far from over. Instead of taking a statement from Cherie and giving her protection, the police officer in charge disbelieves her story and arrests her for public intoxication. He locks her up in a cell with another woman who initially offers the traumatized Cherie some comfort. But when Cherie relays the events of the night to her cellmate, the woman she is speaking to realizes the same thing happened to a friend of hers. We learn that this friend also met Ethan, and shortly after, she was found dead. The woman becomes fearful and makes noise about wanting to be in another cell, but lets Cherie know that she is a marked woman now and is going to be hunted by him. To escape from Ethan, Cherie is told that she needs to meet the First Lady. She also tells her that Ethan controls men. We don't get an answer to what the woman means by this at this stage, and neither does Cherie, as the woman is let out of the cell soon after. A short while later, true to the woman's words, Ethan does turn up at the cell to meet Cherie, and he is allowed in by a police officer who is presumably under his control. She is verbal about how she doesn't want to meet him, but her pleas fall on deaf ears. When alone, Ethan tells her that he did not expect her to put up a fight. Ethan tells her that he wants to play a game, a kind of game in which he hunts Cherie through the night. He tells her that he will let her go if she manages to survive until sunrise. Understandably, Cherie doesn't want to play this game, but he forces her into it. To make things fair, he gives her a head start. The hunt is on, and Cherie leaves the police station, not knowing what any of it means. She sees a lot of flyers for missing women on her way out, watching one of the daily fears of women realized. After getting into a taxi, she makes her way to her boss's house, and he is horrified to see her in this state. He assures her that she is safe with him and that he will take care of the matter. Throughout this time, James's wife Judy has a lot of nervous energy about her, which Cherie notices. Either way, she washes up and gets cleaned up. However, before she makes her way out, she does a little investigation and checks her boss's calendar. As expected, she has dinner with Ethan. Curiosity gets the better of her, and she tries to find his history, which reveals that James had sent dozens of girls over to Ethan's for similar dinners. It is a horrifying moment of realization that this wasn't a safe space for Cherie. After all, the reason she trusted her boss was that he had shown her he was one of the good guys by firing Larry. Judy warns Cherie that Ethan can smell her blood and that she should try to stay as clean as possible to avoid him. As Cherie is on her period, this is something that proves to be difficult for her to evade Ethan. After Judy's warning, Cherie makes her escape, closely followed by James. She gets away just in time and boards a bus, getting off at a convenience store. She buys a pack of tampons and goes to the bathroom, but to her dismay, the moment she comes out, Ethan is waiting for her and he drags her. He beats her up, and at this moment, the camera turns away to show a homeless woman ignoring the scene in front of her. The convenience store guy tries to help Cherie, but is driven away by Ethan. Cherie takes this chance to escape and finds her ex-boyfriend Trey waiting for it. He takes her to his house, and Cherie is completely paranoid the entire way. When she gets there, she is met by Dawn, her ex-best friend who is currently in a relationship with Trey. Dawn is initially unhappy to see her, but after she realizes that Cherie is in trouble, she becomes far more accommodating. Cherie gets cleaned up while Trey goes out to buy her some tampons, but even then, Cherie is convinced that she will be found and is ready to run in her sneakers. One of the people in the house reads her tarot cards and predicts that she is a person of great strength and courage, and she will find a way to overcome her struggles. Shortly after, as Cherie expects, Ethan turns up at the door. Dawn and her friends arm themselves in readiness for a fight, but they are no match for him. We hear gunfire and screams, and while we don't see what happens, it's clear that Ethan has the upper hand. Soon after, we discover that Ethan has killed everyone. Cherie then comes face to face with Ethan again, but before he can do her any harm, Trey arrives with the tampons. He steps up to confront Ethan, but before he can swing a punch, Ethan bites his throat and rips his head clean off. At this point, it becomes clear that he is indeed no ordinary man, but something else entirely. Cherie runs for her life once again, and after another encounter with Ethan, where he gets hit by a car, she heads into a local church and asks a priest for a cross and holy water. She means to use these against Ethan because she recognizes he might be a demon. Sadly, the priest is no help, as it turns out the person Cherie had been talking to was Ethan in the form of the priest who is lying unconscious a few feet away. Ethan mentions that he likes old priests. Ethan tells Cherie that he exists because people believe in him. He shows her his true form, off camera, but we know it is something demonic. Cherie is suitably terrified by what she sees, but before the beast can kill her, the priest wakes up and stabs it in the back, saving Cherie. He then gives her a lighter and points Cherie to a nearby escape hatch before being killed himself. The route takes Cherie to an underground party scene where Cherie comes up with a few survival methods for herself. She uses bleached tissues to tie up her wounds so that it kills the smell of blood on her. She also nicks a few clothes and makes a call to the First Lady, a name she has been seeing on a lot of the missing people flyers. As she is making her way out, she is cornered by a group of guys, but is rescued by a few women who lead her out. However, things are still not good because when Cherie is in the car, her wound opens up and a single drop of blood bleeds out. Ethan is on the scene immediately, and the car crashes. He is about to kill Cherie when she is saved by a dog. She then makes her way to the First Lady's location, the Grand Spa, and it's here where Cherie learns more about the First Lady and Ethan. The First Lady discloses that she is the first angel on a mission to hunt down Ethan, a corrupted angel-turned-demon sent to Earth to guide humanity and maintain order. For Ethan, this meant bestowing men with power over women. This reveals Ethan's actions, as in this feminist era, he presumably felt compelled to eliminate any woman who didn't know her place in the world. He was likely summoned by James, Cherie's boss, when she attempted to rise above her station in her career. Upon learning this, Cherie is asked by the First Lady to take down Ethan. Cherie hesitates but agrees when she realizes that her daughter will be in danger if she doesn't comply. The First Lady advises Cherie that the best time to eliminate Ethan is at sunrise, as he is vulnerable to sunlight. The answer from the beginning has been 5:25 a.m., the time of sunrise and when Ethan must retreat. All Cherie needs to do is catch him in the sunlight, and she is prepared for that. Cherie goes to the harbor amusement park and injures herself so that Ethan can smell her blood and be lured to her location. The plan works, but she is still just one woman against the system of sexism. After a confrontation, Ethan knocks Cherie unconscious by slamming her into a mirror. When she regains consciousness, she finds herself pinned to a wall. Ethan tells her that his goal is to keep girls like her in their place. Using her wits, Cherie tells Ethan that she admits defeat and wants him to have her. Her submission is all he desires, and he releases her. Cherie seizes the opportunity to throw a rock at the glass just as his phone alarm goes off, allowing sunlight to flood in. The First Lady and her followers outside continue throwing rocks until Ethan is trapped. Weakened by the sunlight, he starts bleeding black blood. Struggling, Ethan is taunted by Cherie for being so weak as to be destroyed by mere sunlight. This time, Cherie breaks the fourth wall and looks at the camera. The First Lady sets the blood on fire, engulfing Ethan in flames and ultimately killing him. With the nightmarish ordeal behind her, Cherie decides to return home. In the film's final moments, Cherie reunites with Luz, creating a heartwarming scene. Despite her own traumatic experience, Cherie never endangers her daughter's life and is driven by her desire to be with Luz. Thus, the mother-daughter subplot concludes satisfactorily, highlighting another aspect of Cherie's life that grounds her during her ordeal.
And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Watch other recaps on the screen, like the video, and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.